It's insane that they're trying to put on a theater play when the air raid siren is going off outside the building as they're about to start the show, and we hear bombs falling, maybe down the street, maybe on the next block. So there's, first of all, that's insane. Then it's insane that they're trying to do King Lear, the most difficult role in the Shakespeare canon for an older actor, because Lear is a hugely complex role, usually played by older men. So, and then they're trying to do it with their leading actor, who clearly this day, he just came out of the hospital, he discharged himself. They should never have let him out. You know, he may have just had a stroke, he's certainly having some kind of emotional and physical breakdown. And it's insane that they think they're gonna somehow nurse him and coax him through this performance tonight.
And everybody depends on him to be there, right?
He's their father, he's their king, he's their God, he's their producer, he's their leader, he's their director. It comes from this tradition in the English theater where there weren't directors, there weren't producers, there were actor managers like the David Garricks and the Edmund Keans. They would take their own money and they would star in all the plays, and they'd hire all the actors to go around with them, and they'd tell all the other actors what to do, and they were everything. They were the god of the company.
So what is it like having your wife in this play? Is she as hard to direct as I am?
No, it's great having my wife in this play. We met working together when I was director and she was acting. So our relationship actually started professionally. So that's always like a well-worn glove that we can slip right back on, I feel like. That the director...
Comparing her to a well-worn glove?
No, I'm comparing working together like a well-worn, very comfortable glove. It comes from this tradition in the English theater where there weren't directors, there weren't producers, there were actor managers like the David Garricks and the Edmund Keans. They would take their own money and they would star in all the plays, and they'd hire all the actors to go around with them, and they'd tell all the other actors what to do, and they were everything. They were the god of the company. And so right now the challenge is to figure out how to now that we're looking at the overall, the big scope of the play, how do we take this emotional journey and have it track through this whole event as they more and more get on this downward spiral and this descent. So, you know, it's one of these plays written in the late 1970s when they were really playing around with the notion of the tragic comedy or the comic tragedy. Because this play is very much both. In the way that a lot of Shakespeare's tragedy, the way that King Lear is. You know, there are things that are immensely funny in King Lear, and then things that are horribly tragic. And this play mirrors King Lear in so many ways. The bombs falling outside the theater building while they're trying to do the play are like the thunderstorm that descends on Lear in the middle of the play that he has to rage against. So we see our leading actor raging against Hitler's bombs and explosions, and it's exactly like Sir raging against the thunderstorm in Lear. So there's these incredible parallels between... Exactly. So you see a stage on a stage. When they're performing King Lear, we recreate an entire early turn of the century English theater on our stage.
Wow.
So it's really fun for theater people to be recreating theater event, but a very different English theater event.
Yes. If you were playing a part in this play, which part would you think of?
Partly as Norman and partly as Sir. But I think I gravitate towards Norman because you know, as a director, in a sense, I'm a caretaker in the way that Norman is a caretaker. Norman is a facilitator of Sir, a cajoler. He has to do the things to manipulate him into giving this performance. And as a director, I'm a facilitator in many ways. The theater world of the dresser is all these crazy personalities. And you know what? In every theater family, there are lots of crazy personalities.
you hope the audience gets from this?
Well, you know, I said to the company on the first day of rehearsal that I actually tend to not want to do plays about the theater very much. Because I think sometimes when artists do work about artists, we can get involved in a bit of navel gazing, and we think,
jokes.
Yeah, and we think that we're more interesting than anybody else thinks that we are. So what I think is beautiful about this play is that it uses the world of the theater, but it really deals with major, larger themes. Like, how do we go on when everything is falling against us? I mean, the activities of this little theater troupe on this one night really mirror what every person in Britain was trying to do. They, you know, their little island was under siege. They, you know, they had no food, they were in deprivation, they were under air raid warnings every night. All of Europe had already fallen. To think that they would survive was insane. And so what the world of the play is doing is mirroring the world of the larger culture. And I think that mirrors, for any of us, you know, many of the things that we do day to day. How, when all is falling apart around us, how do we get the will and the strength to still believe and to still go on? Where does hope come from? How do we continue to love when everything around us is selfish and greedy? And can we still do an act of selfless charity? These are, I think, really the big questions about the play. And I think these are the ones that all of us will feel and that we'll learn from, those of us who are, you know, on the other side of the curtain watching the play.
Thanks so much, Fred.
Thanks, Lana. You're welcome.